Good afternoon, and welcome to the Bitter Knitters podcast. It is Sunday, April 1st, 2018. It's Easter Sunday or April Fool's Day. My name is Jacqueline, and Justin's here. I freaking hate April Fool's Day.
April Fool's
Like, I
is
don't
the
mind
worst.
pranks. Pranks are funny. I love pulling pranks on people. But I just hate that it's like the lamest pranks. People think they're so funny. And I hate the ones where people are like, oh, I won the lottery, or I'm dying, or I'm pregnant. Like, those ones are stupid. I don't like any cruel ones.
I hate when you belong to like a Facebook group that is like a semi like relate to a subject like let's say Universal Studios pass holders. Nerd, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you get like 5 posts of the same things, like, oh, this ride's opening today. I was like, okay, it wasn't funny the first time.
Oh, passes are going up $50. Not an April
That's
Fool's
believable. That really happens once a year.
Yeah.
And everyone's all like, Voodoo Donuts just opened, so everyone's like, Voodoo Donuts is out of business already. They've run out of donuts. I was like, stop.
Yeah, I like I said, I don't mind pranks. I'm the kind of person that hides behind the door and waits for somebody to come in and go boo and scare them, or I love that. But I mean, I have no problem with pranks, but just like the one with the people wrapping up kids' Easter candy in grapes and stuff. Like, that's not funny. Don't screw with kids' Easter candy. That's cruel. I'm sorry.
That's gone too far.
That's too far. Okay, so let's talk TV. What do you get?
Okay. Do you want to go straight into shows today? Because I feel like we got a lot. Then maybe if we have time for news, we'll hit some news at the end.
Okay, sure. I'm down for that.
I feel like our first story today was the news this week, or our first show this week was the news. Everywhere you turned, this show was on the news. Obviously, I'm talking about the good doctor, Sean Murphy. No, we'll talk about Dr. Sean Murphy in a little bit. But obviously, we're talking about the Roseanne reboot, which went off the air, I believe it was 97, and now we're in 2018, so 21 years ago. And all it was in the news this week was the fact that she's a Trump supporter and voting for Trump, Trump, and Trump called her, and Trump did this. And I felt like that kind of overshadowed the whole purpose and whole point of the show to begin with. And I felt like, that was kind of the plot point of the first episode, but then it went on, and I don't know if it's ever going to get mentioned again, but that's all people can talk about is the whole Trump aspect of the show.
Yeah, I don't remember them talking about that again. Maybe like subtly, but not as big a difference as or big as reason as it was in the first episode.
The funny thing is I've seen people out there refusing to watch it because of the Trump aspect. But when you look at the nitty gritty of it, it's pretty much only Roseanne being the Trump supporter. You have her sister, Aunt Jackie. The two of them haven't talked a year and a half after the election. You have Sarah Gilbert's character, who obviously was not a Trump supporter. You've got a writer's room, which I was reading articles. They're all obviously more on the left than on the right.
What Hollywood elite?
I know, shocker. And you have Whitney Cummings, Norm Macdonald, what's her name, Wanda Sykes involved with this. And I was reading an article saying for the writer's room, it was a lot harder for them to come up with pro-Trump or Trump jokes just because they're on the it was kind of hard for them to do it. And then the funniest thing is Trump's never mentioned by name. Hillary's never mentioned by name. They only mentioned one candidate the entire episode, and that was Jill Stein.
And Jackie got so flustered and scared of her own choices that she got nervous in the thing and ended up voting for Jill Stein instead of who she wanted, Hillary.
Exactly. So it was a pretty funny vote. But I feel like all this like political stuff, the fact that like Trump has called Roseanne, has totally overshadowed the show itself.
It won't matter. This is my take on it. It won't matter. You've got two groups of people that are going to watch this show. The people that love the show from when they were a kid or an adult, 20 years ago, are going to watch it. And then you got the people that are Trump supporters that are going to tune in to watch it. But I would think that anybody that's a real Trump supporter today probably watched Roseanne back in the day because she kind of was that middle America normal person that appeals to Trump.
Yes, but at the same time, I felt like the character and the show itself was a lot more progressive.
It was pretty progressive for the 90s, definitely. They talked about abortion, right?
Yeah.
They talked about gay characters. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on.
Gay characters, yeah. And of course, you had that famous episode with Muriel Hemingway where they had to kiss.
Yeah.
And so it was progressive at the time. So it's kind of interesting. Day of ratings, 18 million viewers, which for 2018, especially for a sitcom, that's huge.
Yeah. On a network show. We're not even talking about something like Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah, on a network show. So it'll be interesting to see if that holds up and if that continues. I think of the 2 episodes, the first one was so much weaker than the first one. Or the second one.
I preferred the second episode as well.
The second one was stronger. So again, it's been 21 years since the show went off the air. Now, I think I know the answer to this question, but what was your relationship with the original Roseanne series?
I didn't watch it hardcore. I saw episodes here and there. I did watch the last season a little bit more after Dan died. I don't know why. And I saw it in reruns quite a bit. Like we watched reruns. You know, they come on at 5:30 in the afternoon. We watched some reruns, but yeah, I wasn't the biggest Roseanne fan. I didn't hate her.
Yeah,
didn't love her. Just watched it sometimes.
It premiered around the time that I was starting to like become conscious of like TV and what's going on and watching it. And I don't think I watched it right away from the get-go. I mean, I was still young. It premiered in 1988. But I remember within the first or second season, this is a weird memory to have, but I remember specifically one of my parents calling it, "Oh, that show where the fat people yell at each other." And you know what? That's accurate.
Yeah.
The fat people yelling at each other, and that's all you need about Roseanne. But then as I got older, once I got like 11, 12, 13, fell in love with the show. I thought it was hysterical. Going back to it now, I don't know if I would find it as funny, but I thought it was funny as a kid. The last season I thought kind of went off the rails. That when I was like, I think 17, it was odd and weird and bizarre, but yeah, I enjoyed the show. So
the one thing I always appreciated about it is because like I didn't come from a perfect like Brady family. I didn't come from like a Cosby family. So it was more realistic to my family. Like my mom would never have yelled like Roseanne yelled. But yeah, they were broke and they were scrounging for money and they were trying to pay bills and yeah, I could completely relate to that.
Yeah, and I feel like you're right. Everything that came before was like perfect family, rich families.
Yeah.
Not everything, but that was the trend. And then I think Roseanne kind of started more of like a working class trend. You got Married with Children coming up afterwards, and then stuff like Grace Under Fire and those kinds of shows. I think it definitely paved the way for. But yeah, it was an interesting show for its time. So it's kind of weird to see it back. It took me a while to kind of get in the groove. It felt off to me at first. I think they had to get in their groove.
That first scene was horrible. She literally just shouted and she seemed so, I don't know. I found her acting through most of the 2 episodes hit or miss for me. It was either she was shouting anytime she delivered a punchline, she was shouting. It was like she thought she was doing stand-up still.
It was not. Are you talking about that pill scene when they were in the kitchen?
That where she wakes him up and he's got the breathing, but the pill scene was bad. Like anytime, even in the second episode, she's delivering a joke, she's shouting it.
Yeah.
Which is like her stand-up. I thought that surprisingly, the best actors on it. I mean, not surprising for John Goodman and Laurie Metcalf. They're always fine actors. Sarah Gilbert. She used to be horrible. She's really good.
Those were the 3. Well, obviously Laurie Metcalf and John Goodman, but of the non-2 of those, the one that caught my eye, surprised me too, was Sarah Gilbert.
She did really good acting. That first scene where she's like crying and I mean, she hasn't acted for years and she did a great job.
Yeah, I mean, to her advantage though, she still has been in front of the camera.
Yes.
With the talk and all that. I mean, that's different from just acting and doing scripts like that. And she's done like Big Bang Theory here and there, right?
Oh, that's true. I forgot she's on Big Bang Theory.
But still, that's
comedy. She wasn't doing like drama. I mean, I know Roseanne is comedy, but to cry on cue is not easy.
But the other 2 kids, oh my god!
Well, we didn't get much of DJ, thankfully,
which is probably a good thing.
Thankfully,
because I don't think he was in the second episode at all. But that scene,
I don't recall seeing him now.
yeah, I mean, he's not an actor.
Yeah, and Becky's just, oh my God. She really hasn't aged much. I'll give her that. She does still look young. She's just a weird looking person. And I mean, her acting is okay. It's the same as when she was younger.
Yeah,
it didn't get better. I don't think it got worse.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see when they start popping up other like characters throughout the series.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll keep watching. I will probably tune in for Sandra Bernhardt and for David Galecki.
Yeah, that's right. He's going to be in one episode, and her mom, even though it was weird, is there was a picture of their fireplace.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Because Shelley Winters had one, and Shelley Winters is no longer with us. That there was one with the mom too. I'm like, well, the mom's not only still alive, but she's supposed to be in like 2 episodes. So like, odd.
You know who else I liked? I liked Mark.
Mark,
the little gender.
Oh, the little. Oh, I think you meant original Mark.
No, the little. I don't know what they're calling him. Gender queer. I don't know what they're calling him, but yeah, I like him. I think he's kind of snazzy and funny.
Yeah, I think the way they're approaching him right now is like, how old is he? Like 9, 10? 10 yeah. It's like he's just a kid who just has his own style right now, who's kind of just discovering himself and kind of exploring himself. And it seems like they're being very careful not to label him yet.
Yeah. They specifically said that, where Darlene says he's not interested in boys or girls yet. He doesn't know what he is. He just likes to wear what he likes to wear.
And that's Darlene's son. And a lot of that second episode kind of had to deal with John Goodman's kind of discomfort of having a more flamboyant, not really the type of grandson he expected to have.
Yeah, and I like the point that Darlene made too. She's like, I wore basketball shorts and basketball jerseys and, was obsessed with sports, and you were okay with that. And they're like, well, we all knew you were gay. And she's like, I'm not gay. But my favorite line of both episodes, which I think the only time I really laughed out loud, was when they were telling Darlene's oldest daughter that she has to stay home and babysit. She's like, you're ruining my life. And Dan's like, oh, I miss this show. It's been 25 years.
Well, I think I laughed out loud like 2 or 3 times. But the one I do remember, because it was the first one, was when Becky was talking about being a surrogate for someone else who ended up being Becky too, the actress who played Sarah Chop. And doing all this, and Darlene just goes out and she's like, isn't anybody going to notice that she's like 50?
Yeah, or what she said, her uterus should be a historical site. Yeah, they gave Darlene some good lines. I'll give her that.
Yeah, I was really impressed by Sarah Gilbert.
Yeah,
she was kind of the highlight of that. So it'll be interesting to see how they balance all the characters and the returning characters balancing part. I hope they don't bring back that Crystal lady. She was always so useless.
Oh, the next door neighbor lady? Yeah.
She like came in and out, and then like by the like middle of the show, they like wrote her out because she was useless. She didn't really have any purpose. So it'll be it's kind of.
What if George Clooney will come back?
I actually saw an article about that, saying I guess he wasn't or he can. Obviously, he's not going to.
No. It wouldn't hurt him to do one episode. That did get him onto ER. Come on.
Oh yeah. But it also brings a whole debate on watching a show, and despite not really, I don't know, because Roseanne's been saying some crazy things.
She has. You know what? I kind of was like, this is my theory, because I'm kind of that person that I hate when somebody represents something I hate. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, I shouldn't watch it because she's a Trump supporter. But I'm like, you know what? I watched and I liked Handmaid's Tale. And that girl's a Scientologist, which might even be more dangerous than 45. So I was like, you know what? I have to at least watch it and give it a chance.
Yeah.
Watch one episode. If you don't like it, then you don't have to watch it again. But don't watch it just because. And I'll tell you this, she's not going on. There's no banners waving. There's no, she doesn't got framed pictures of them. She's not wearing pins of them on her shirt.
She's not pushing her.
No.
And you do get, what I think that the media is missing is you get both sides.
And she says why. She was worried about jobs. They almost lost their home. And that's why a lot of people voted for him.
Yeah.
Right?
I think it's completely believable for Roseanne Connor to... I know everyone's like, oh, she was so progressive back in the night, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, I mean, she's older now. The character's older. And with the situation that our country's in and the way a lot of those people did vote that way, I mean, I feel like it's completely believable.
Yeah.
And
we can, and also too, you know, like, not to get super political here, is we can still like somebody even if we have a different political opinion. That's what's wrong right now in not just your country, my country as well. It's starting to happen. People are so divided over political parties that they can't come to a middle ground.
Yeah.
20 years ago, we wouldn't have cared if Murphy Brown was a Republican. You watched the show, or 30 years ago, you would watch the show if you liked it, right? I don't know if she was or she wasn't. I'm just saying it didn't matter how someone voted. And that's why a vote should be kept secret in a lot of cases, because people are crazy now.
Yeah, it's gotten really, really cuckoo.
This is not like a Kellyanne Conway show with a love letter to Donald Trump. This is a show about a middle-class American family, and it's completely realistic that she would have supported Donald Trump.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, both sides are represented in the character, so it's not like a super, like...
It's not super lefty, it's not super righty.
And it never will be, because the writing and the creators, except for Roseanne, are definitely more liberal. Again, shocker. Liberal Hollywood. So I thought it was interesting. What's crazy already is, like, I was talking about how the reviews were, or not the reviews, the ratings were huge, that they've already picked it up for a second season, or 11th season. And that confuses me with these reboots. Do we start from like now, or do we start from back then?
Yeah,
I feel like it's its own separate show. You got the same.
I know. I was looking for it on one of the, hosting streaming sites, and it's listed as like season 10, and I'm like, what? Or season 11, whatever it is, and I'm like, what? Yeah, to me, it's like Doctor Who. I know it's different series from 20 years ago series, so I don't think they should be clumped together.
No, and they don't, which is good. I feel like it's its own thing. It should start from a season 1, and maybe put in parentheses like Roseanne 2018 season 1.
Yeah.
And we are getting, I think, 13 episodes next season, which is up from, I believe, 9 that we're getting this year. 9 and so we'll see. Hopefully, as further Roseanne goes on, her acting will get better. I feel like I love She-Devil.
I liked it too, but I haven't watched it for years, but I remember liking it when it came out back in the late 80s.
And I love the fact that Meryl Streep is in it.
Yeah, but she did some weird movies back in the 80s. Remember she did Death Becomes Her, which is a fantastic movie too.
River Wild.
Yeah, like she makes some Mamma Mia. She makes some iffy choices.
Mamma Mia too. So it'll be interesting to see it going forward and see if the audience it's just crazy where, and the fact that Trump actually called Roseanne and congratulated her, I was like, dude, the show's not about you.
Yeah, we he didn't watch it because it's not about him.
Oh my God, yeah, that's true. Let's go ahead and talk about another show that we watched this week that we will talk about because it was the season finale. It was the season finale of Dr. Sean Murphy.
I don't want to quit Dr. Sean Murphy. Yeah, what is this good doctor? It's the really Dr. Sean Murphy show.
Starring Dr. Sean Murphy.
Yes.
That's really what it should be called. Sorry, Joel McHale, we're stealing your title. So it was the season finale this week. The good news is it obviously has been picked up for a season 2 that we will get on ABC, I assume, back in the fall. And so throughout the entire season, we've had Dr. Sean Murphy get introduced to this hospital as kind of a resident doctor. And we meet these other residents. And of course, he's got autism. A lot of people have doubts on him. The very first episode, his mentor and almost father figure was like, look, I'll put my career on the line. If he's anything but excellent, you can get rid of him. You can get rid of me. I'll step down from my position. And obviously, if they're going to throw that out in the first episode, that's going to come back and haunt him as we go on through the series.
Yeah. And I mean, we haven't seen Sean make any mistakes. We saw him being a genius and coming up with, diagnoses that people wouldn't see, or coming up with ways to repair or fix or help people that are really sick. So, of course, in the final episode, it all goes to shit for Dr. Sean Murphy.
Well, I mean, it really does. But to give him credit, I can understand his mind was distracted. He just found out that his father figure, Dr. Glassman, was diagnosed with some sort of cancer.
Called it.
You did.
Episode
right away,
1.
you knew eventually that something was going to happen or be diagnosed with Dr. Glassman. He always looked like he was on the road.
Although I thought he knew that he was sick. Because the way he kept telling Sean that he couldn't rely on him all the time, or maybe just because he's old, he thought, Sean's got to get his shit together too. But I just was like, something's gonna happen. The foreshadowing was like brightly lit with like neon arrows.
Yeah. So Dr. Sean Murphy found out about the cancer diagnosis and that he was only given so long to live, and he got distracted. And that was all he could think about, and he kind of made a mistake in a surgery.
Yeah.
And so they have a whole thing where his surgeon in charge and the other students have to report it, but then they're like, no, if there's a way we can figure this out and we can solve it, and the guy's going to be okay, then we can go about all our way. Nobody will ever know, and we're all good. And so the whole episode, they're kind of problem solving, and they do come up with a solution.
But don't forget, the whole episode, Dr. Sean Murphy is also distracted still, trying to cure Dr. Glassman and to find his little scalpel that his brother gave him when they were kids.
Yeah. So he's kind of doubly distracted. So the whole time when they're trying to come up with ideas, Dr. Sean Murphy is just looking off in the corner for his scalpel. He's like going under sofas, going through pillows, and they're all trying to like save this guy's life.
Ransacking offices, and he's not even paying attention. Is what they think.
Yeah. So when we started the series, we were introduced. We had 3 kind of residents. We had Dr. Sean Murphy, we had Dr. Claire, and we had Dr. Jared. And then in the last few episodes, we've been introduced to
Mega Bitch. I don't remember her
Mega
name.
Bitch and Asian guy. Asian guy that should have been played by Jin. Why was it not played by Jin?
Yeah, maybe Jin's too handsome. I don't know.
I don't know, but the fact that I think they're around the right age. Maybe this guy's a little older. Because
remember, the guy spent like 11 years being a cop before he went into medical. Yeah.
But Jin, like, he's no longer in Hawaii Five-0. He's a producer on the show. I felt like that would have made sense.
Maybe he didn't want to blur the lines as producer and actor.
That's true. And so, you have these 2 guys. And that blonde girl, she's the worst.
She's a mega bitch.
I hope she gets in some
she's clawing. Her theory is this, okay? She says that there's only going to be 1 resident or 2 residents that will be picked to continue on, and the other ones are going to, have to go somewhere else or go to a shitty hospital or whatever. So she's really trying to make her career happen. So she's competitive, and she's trying to push the others out of the limelight, which I can kind of understand. It's a very competitive field, but she really is a bitch about it.
Oh, she really is. But what's weird about this finale was I felt like the episode before kind of set up 2 big stories. We set up Dr. Sean Murphy being used by his neighbor / so-called friend, and there was a setup of
Kenny or whatever. That guy's an asshole.
Yeah, and then there was the setup of Jared getting that letter saying he was accepted into some program in Colorado. And neither of those were mentioned in the finale. Especially, I was kind of surprised the Jared thing was not brought up.
You can just briefly look at the letter again to remind us or something.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that was introduced as
because they kept implying in the episode before where he got the letter that this isn't your place. You're not going to end up here, Jared. You're not wanted here. Because remember, he'd made that big kerfluffle when he grabbed the other doctor that sexually harassed Claire. And he was suspended, and then they blackmailed their way into getting him back into his job. So it's like, you're not going to be successful here, Jared. You may as well just leave and go somewhere.
Yeah, and we kind of got that this. Yeah, exactly. And we got a little taste of that this week when he stood up. He's like, "Look, I'll take
the hit.
I'll take the hit for Dr. Sean Murphy," and they won't fire him. But they're like, "Look, that gives him another excuse to fire you."
Because that was basically what they were saying is like everybody right? So like if Dr. Claire made a mistake or Mega Bitch made a mistake, it happens, right? They'll review it. You might get a hit on your, your, I don't want to say grades, but your career, right? It's in your file. But because he's autistic, it could be dangerous and could be literally career ending for two people, not just him, Dr. Glassman.
Yeah. So that was an interesting scene. And I liked how I feel like we've definitely seen an evolution of Dr. Melendez, who I think at the very beginning, he was not.
He would have bounced Sean at any chance.
Yeah. And here now he's trying to find ways to help save him. And I really like that evolution of his character. I hated him at first. I really hated him. And now I like him.
Well, and you know what? I will say this about Mega Bitch, because remember at one point she's like, she goes, yeah, he's dangerous because, you know, he's autistic or whatever. She goes, but he's also a genius. And he can come up with ideas that none of us ever will. Like, she did give him some credit.
Yeah, but she's still Mega Bitch.
Yeah, she's still Mega Bitch. And when Sean is, like, almost going crazy trying to find cures for Dr. Glassman, Dr. Glassman comes in and he goes, just stop. I don't want to think about it for my last 3 months. I just want to live my last 3 months and be happy. Oh, I mean, Dr. Glassman was amazing this week, along with Dr. Sean Murphy. Just, had me crying at every 2 seconds.
I think Dr. Sean Murphy, of course, but I also think Dr. Glassman does deserve an Emmy nomination for this episode. I think that
it was really good. And then, you know, so finally Sean concedes. He's like, well, if you don't want to talk about it or you don't want to cure it, what are we going to do? And they go to the carnival or whatever, a little fair, and they ride the merry-go-round. What do you call that thing? Carousel.
Mm-hmm.
And he tells a story about how he used to go there with his daughter. I guess his daughter died too.
Everyone's dead.
I know, like, oh my God, don't go to Dr. Sean Murphy land, you'll die. And, you know, it was sweet. And then, you know, and then he came up with a cure for Dr. Glassman's cancer.
Yeah, which isn't going to be like the end all be all, but it's definitely going to prolong and help him a little bit. And in the last few episodes, we kind of seen Dr. Sean Murphy kind of want to distance himself from Dr. Glassman. He's like, I'm an adult. I can take care of myself. I don't need you telling me what to do, because that's what Glassman was doing for a little bit. He was looking out for Sean, but Sean felt like he was being a little overbearing.
Too much, yeah.
And so we kind of didn't see a lot of them together this last batch of episodes. And at the very end, we get a nice little hug. And
you say it, because if I say it, I'll cry. I'm not even joking.
We get an I love you, and Dr. Sean Murphy responds with an I love you more. And we get a very awkward hug, which to me was almost as good as his awkward run. And I'm about to tear up too, but that was really a sweet scene to kind of bring their relationship back to the forefront and back together after them being separated.
Yeah. What I thought was really telling, because, you know, we know that Dr. Sean Murphy's awkward and, you know, he doesn't like to touch or whatever. He initiated the I love you. He said, I love you. And Dr. Glassman says, I know. I love you too. And then he says, I love you more, which is something his daughter used to say too. So Dr. Sean Murphy took that into his memories, and, you know, he's trying to give him some, I don't know if he knows he can't replace his daughter, but have that same relationship and feeling, I guess he's trying.
So the episode's almost over. They've saved the day. The guy's going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
But Dr. Sean Murphy's like, nope, look at this. I'm going to go up to the main guy. I'm going to report myself to what I did wrong. So even though everything was going to be okay, he still made the decision that he had to report his mistake. Because he felt like that was his responsibility, even though he knew that he
got away with it too.
Yeah, he got away. He would have been okay. Everyone was off to get drinks, and he's like, no, I have to go report this, even though he knows that it's going to put his job in jeopardy, and it's going to put Dr. Glassman's job in jeopardy.
I can't imagine they're going to let Dr. Glassman stay there with a brain tumor.
Oh, that too. Yeah. So while I was reading things, it sounds like we're definitely going to get that other guy in charge, and he's kind of
the one that can't have a baby?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see a different if he does.
They definitely had him in the was it the Asian lady talking about getting rid of Sean Murphy and Glassman? So
yeah. So he's definitely out for them. But the show's called Dr. Sean Murphy, so they can't get rid of Dr. Sean.
He's not going anywhere. We didn't get to, because we didn't talk about it last week. We didn't have a show. What Asian lady was hooking up with that young thing?
Oh yeah.
Go Asian lady. She looked good. You see how old she is in real life?
No, how old is she?
She's like in her mid to late 50s.
Oh, wow.
Girl looks good.
She looks really good.
Yeah.
I feel like she's one of the characters they don't really know what to do with her.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how much they use her in season 2, because I feel like there's a few characters that they're not sure what to do with.
So, yeah, I think that too, because they kind of they start to make stories that seem like they'll be interesting, and then they just, where'd you go?
Yeah, and you get that. It's like Nashville.
Yeah.
And you get that a lot with like first season shows, and oh yeah, she's 52. With first season shows and in between second season, we'll sometimes see a big change in terms of like cast turnover once they kind of know what they want to do with characters. So it'll be interesting to see what they will do.
Yeah, who is around next season.
And who gets, I hope Mega Bitch doesn't get upgraded to a series regular.
I know. I hope we keep, I didn't like Dr. Jared the first couple episodes either, but he's definitely grown on me, so I hope Dr. Jared sticks around.
He's okay. I'd be either or with him, but I don't think they'll get rid of him.
Yeah. Oh. They do need some more ladies on the show, though, because it's so man-heavy.
Yeah, and you've been saying
this a lot. There's no one for love interest. I mean, look, here's the when you watch a show, I don't want it to be all lovey-dovey. I don't want it to be Grey's Anatomy where everybody's boning everybody, but you need some women to bounce it off. You don't want it to just be guys, or may as well just be watching, I don't know, Hogan's Heroes or something.
Well, what's funny is when the show started, you had 2 big couples, and both those couples broke up. Yes. You don't even have those couples. So now I'm trying to think, and except for like the guy who's about to be in charge and his wife, who we've only met once, there really is no like big relationship.
Yeah.
In the show. So
yeah, and I can't see Claire and the Asian doctor hooking up. I think I could see Claire and Melendez hooking up.
100%.
I think I see a lot of chemistry there.
They hinted at that a little bit.
Yeah.
They definitely hinted that. And I think we got to get somebody for Dr. Sean Murphy.
Yeah.
I mean, they had Leah, but Leah left.
Well, Dr. Glassman had his date, but now that he's got brain cancer, who knows if that date's going to hang around.
Oh, she's like, see ya.
He doesn't know the word receipt or bill. Check, please. So, yeah, I mean, Leah was okay. I thought she was just a little too much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I like that she was accepting of Sean. I mean, I didn't know if she knew he had ADD or autism the whole time, but she accepted him and that. But I feel like he definitely loved her more than she loved him. You know what I mean? I think it was more like she liked him, but wasn't like willing to like marry him and be with him.
I'd rather have Leah than the dirty, smelly guy from Whitney.
Oh my God. That guy.
He's just using Dr. Sean. At least there was some sort of like respect and like from her towards him, and he's just completely, he knows that he can use them, and he's been using Dr. Sean Murphy in his 70-inch TV, and he's an ass.
I think season 2 Dr. Sean Murphy is going to be a stronger guy. I think he's going to stand up to
I think we'll definitely see that. So it'll be interesting to see when we start getting casting news and all that kind of stuff coming out soon. And yeah, I'm so happy we get season 2 of Dr. Sean Murphy. Yay, so that should be good. Okay, so we got a couple other shows to talk about. Let's go ahead and talk about a new show that premiered on HBO last week called Barry, which stars Bill Hader. And I can't tell if the show's definitely a drama, but it tries to be a comedy. I'm so confused.
Oh, I thought it was a comedy that was a kind of dramatic.
It's one of those. I'm not sure which one it is. And there is a difference. So we
I mean, I didn't laugh that much, so I guess.
I laughed when the Chechens were like, these kids are watching Jesse on TV.
Yes.
So and I'm like, what? We have Bill Hader, who is a hitman, and he flies across to LA. He's given a job hired by these Chechen characters to murder this one guy named Ryan. And so we meet the Chechens, and they're with a bunch of girls for some reason.
Well, so the daughter is having a party, and all her friends are there
watching Jesse on Disney Channel.
Because that's what like 9-year-old girls like to watch.
I just thought that was funny. Like it was so random.
That's his daughter and her friends.
And so he finds his mark. He finds his Ryan guy, and it turns out that he is in an acting class. and Bill Hader's character Barry gets involved in this acting class. The acting
by
teacher,
accident, yeah.
By accident. The acting teacher is Henry Winkler.
The Fawn.
The Fawns. And he kind of gets a liking for it. He befriends and goes out to drink with all these acting students, and it feels like it gives him a place to belong that he hasn't before. So he started to show doubts, and his handler guy or whoever gave him the job was like, look, dude, the Chechenians are watching. They know you're getting close to your mark. You need to be careful. You need to do your job. And he still gets deeper and deeper into the acting thing. And at the end of the episode, we see that the Chechens end up killing, had hired a new sniper who murdered Ryan. He ends up murdering and shooting the Chechens. And at the end, we see him talking with the waitress, Melissa Villaseñor from Saturday Night Live, who's got the weirdest voice ever, but I like her. And he's like,
frog in her throat all the time.
And she talks like this.
She's like the Latino Eddie Rain Man.
Oh my God, they need to do a movie together. Or Eddie Rain Man needs to do SNL, and they do every sketch together. They sing Nickelback. There's got to be another Nickelback song they can use. They got to do a sequel to that sketch. And so then he's like, at the end, he's like, yep, I'm an actor. And that's kind of the gist of it.
Yeah. So like the reason he gets, it's kind of funny because he gets drawn in and he goes up and he does this little sketch, the applause that comes in. And he's like, oh, wow. You know, I guess a lot of people say when they hear the applause, they get the acting bug, right? So he's like, oh, and then they're welcoming to him and encouraging him. And, you know, this is a guy who came back from Iraq and
from somewhere.
Seems like he doesn't have any friends in New York. He doesn't have a life. So he's, you know, and he was saying at one point, he's like, I've been depressed. I don't know if that's in the second episode. I think it might be in the second episode. He basically saying he was like depressed and this is bringing something out of him.
Yeah, you could definitely tell that he was getting something that he wasn't getting before, which is why I think he kept coming back. And what I thought was funny is he went up to Henry Winkler, the acting coach, and Winkler's like, you don't got it. You're awful. You're the worst I've ever seen. And then he goes in this whole speech about his real life, about him coming back from the war and killing people. And Henry Winkler's like, what's that from? That was an amazing. He was like, that was
off the cuff?
Yeah. And so that I thought wasn't like ha-ha funny, but it's kind of like a situational funny.
Yeah.
But it was... I guess the site's calling it a comedy. I didn't see much of a comedy in it, but
because it's not like jokey comedy. I'm enjoying it. It's entertaining. It's kind of humorous, but it's not like ha 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 ha. That's so funny. It's like, oh yeah, that's
and it's kind
funny.
Of interesting to see Bill Hader in that kind of role. I feel like he was a lot of his SNL characters I always thought were just so kind of like stone faced, and I got this a lot with Barry in the first episode at least.
Yeah.
And he was kind of more of an observer than a participant. And I have a feeling that'll probably change as the series goes on. But it was kind of interesting. It'll be interesting now. He's going for the acting thing. Is he going to be able to balance the Hitman thing with it? Is he going to have some of his past hits come back to haunt him? Is the murdering the Chechens, is that going to come back?
Well, this will be good for Bill Hader because you know what? Just from the first and second episode that I've seen, he's got some good dramatic acting chops. So we might be able to see him, you know, become like a Jim Carrey or Robin Williams, you know, somebody that crosses those lines and becomes a successful, you know, actor.
Yeah, I think this is kind of a good move for him. So it'll be interesting to see if the show catches on. And I would watch it again. You saw the second episode. How was the second episode?
It was good. It was good. I enjoyed it. A little more humorous.
Oh, that's good.
Still not like, you know, guffaws and, you know, LOLs, but definitely, and you see more Barry's personality coming out. You see more of the acting class, of course. Yeah. Now, do you recognize his buddy Fuchs or whatever his name is that helps him set up the hits?
Yeah, that's that Stephen Rick guy.
Yeah. That was on News Radio and everything.
He's a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the cast list, and apparently, I don't know if she was on this week, but that princess from Gallivant, the one who was like stuck in that room in the second season, she's apparently on the show, but I don't know if she was on the first episode or not.
I don't remember seeing her.
But she's
unless she's one of those those actresses in the background that I didn't really pay attention to.
Apparently she plays somebody named Sharon.
Oh, maybe she's at the bar.
But I'll definitely have to keep an eye out for all these Gallivant people getting all these jobs.
Stay on our jobs, Gallivant.
But no, it's kind of an interesting show so far, and it'll be. Yeah, I'm liking it.
Watch. Like, okay, so if you're the kind of person that likes like a Big Bang Theory type comedy, you're probably not gonna love Barry. But if you're the kind of person that likes, I'm trying to compare it to something a little more dark, not so obvious humor, you probably would enjoy Barry more.
Yeah, I can't really like pinpoint like anything because it's not the kind of stuff I usually watch. But it was nice. It's not an hour show. It's a half-hour show, and it was. And Bill Hader is very good in it.
Yeah, I like Bill Hader. Some about him is there's a charm to him. I
always liked him on SNL.
By the way, whoever did his skin, I don't know if he got a chemical peel or he's been moisturizing. He looks younger than he looked when he was on Saturday Night Live. I thought he looked so young. I'm like, holy cow! It's like when they did the CGI to like make people look young in The Force Awakens.
Oh my god! When did they do that in Force Awakens?
Wasn't it when they did Prince? Oh no, it was Rogue One when they did the Princess Leia.
God, that was scary. Which brings me to the point, how old is Bill Hader?
He's probably between me and you.
He is. He's 39. He's actually a lot closer to me than I would think he would be.
Okay, I thought it was like maybe 41, 42.
He'll be 40 in June.
Okay. Yeah, I thought he looked really young. I thought his skin looked amazing. I was jealous.
He's having a good moment. His SNL was probably one of the better ones of the season.
It was actually one of the better ones I thought in a couple of years, to be honest.
Yeah, it's always good to see Stefan back.
Yeah.
Did not like to see the Californians back, but that's
okay. Oh, I hate the Californians, but oh my god, the old man. Jose, what is his name? Jorge? Oh my god, on the wheelchair?
Oh yeah.
So funny. And did you see when he was, I don't know if he's on Stephen Colbert or Seth Meyers, he's talking about that scene. That was not like how the table gets pushed all over and he's driving into Melissa. That was not supposed to happen. He just could not control the wheelchair.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, he could not control it. And he said when he saw 80 and no table, he was like, uh-oh. Yeah, you should try to find the clip. I think it was on Seth Meyers. Maybe he was talking about that.
I know he was talking a little bit about Stefan and when John Mulaney came and whispered into him and said the most like random thing. And John Mulaney, I think, is going to be one of the next hosts of SNL.
I like John Mulaney. I watched his stand-up. I didn't know anything about him, but I watched his stand-up, and he's funny.
Yeah, no, I remember he had a show a couple years ago that didn't really catch on.
He looks like such like an accountant or a lawyer or a businessman. Like to see him like doing comedy is
kind of odd.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one thing I did like about Californians was it was a better use of Vanessa Bayer than when she did her weather lady the week before. She was just in a photo and that was it.
And they like just zoomed in on her expression in the photo. It was perfect.
They're like, that's how you use Vanessa Bayer. Yeah. Either that or as a porn star.
I liked her Miley too. I thought her Miley was horrible, but I liked it.
But to bring her back though to play that weather lady.
That was awful. It was awful.
I would have rather seen the little Jacob Jewish.
Yeah, Jacob the Jewish kid. Yeah, anything would have been better.
Okay, we got 2 more shows to talk about.
Okay.
We've got Sirens and Deception. Which one should we begin with?
Oh, I forgot that Sirens existed.
Okay, we'll talk about Deception.
Okay.
How many episodes did you just watch the pilot?
I just watched the first one, yeah.
Okay. I am up to date. There's 3 episodes currently. So ABC a couple weeks ago premiered a new show called Deception. It's kind of Lucifer-ish and Castle-ish, where you've got someone who's from an outside job and occupation coming in and helping the police and the FBI solve crimes that is up his alley. In this case, we have Cameron Black, who is a magician, and I was so confused at the beginning of the pilot because all of a sudden he's like
that trick he did. I'm like, there's no way you can get from from Las Vegas to New York City. No way. This
I'm like,
is
how
bullshit.
is this? Yeah, he like teleported himself from like Las Vegas to New York. And I'm like, what is going on? This is so confusing. And then we find that his New York self ends up in a car with this lady with 2 eyes. And then he wakes up.
2 different colored eyes.
2 different colored eyes. Oh, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. And then and then he like wakes up and he's like in a car accident, I guess, but he knows a dead body, and so he's getting framed for this lady's murder.
Can I just say the simple explanation to how come? So he's like, oh, this lady, it's not the same lady. She didn't have 2 different colored eyes. Couldn't her contact have just popped out of her head? Maybe she's wearing a contact to look completely. I mean, she like went through the window. But
it didn't. Yeah, that's true. It didn't really help him though because he's in jail. But we find out that that's not the magician. That's the magician's twin brother, and that they do an act together
their entire lives because their dad was a magician. Lives.
But I have like today in the world of social media, like I feel like that would be a hard thing to pull off.
And even identical twins don't look that identical.
Yeah, well, these do because they're the same actor.
But yeah, their father was breaking the law by not reporting wherever they were born. Not reporting the birth of a child is against the law.
Yes, that's true.
So, yeah.
So that's how it ends up. Once I did that explanation, I'm like, oh, okay, that was actually kind of clever. Because I didn't know much going into the show. I think some of the descriptions were like, oh, his brother was framed. I didn't read any of that. So when that happened on the show, I was like, okay, that's kind of clever. So now this Cameron guy wants to kind of make sure that he clears his brother's name, gets his brother out of prison. And meanwhile, the FBI is searching for this criminal who kind of uses magic to fool them. And so he comes in, helps the FBI. A couple people are kind of welcoming. Everyone else is kind of resistant to him at first. He's kind of being a smarmy asshole dick guy, but he gets the job done. They capture his guy. And then we're like, oh, but we still got to catch the lady with the 2 colored eyes.
I thought, I know it's a show, we're supposed to suspend disbelief and stuff like that. That plane blowing up scene, like the FBI, that would have been the dumbest group of FBI people ever to have fallen for that trick. Like I could see the plane parts. Oh, okay, I could see that part. Oh, it blew up. Oh, this is horrible. You didn't check all around the building to see if there was a freaking another door? Come on.
No, which is what he discovered. He discovered, hey, look, this is how they got out. Here's a door right here. They're like, oh.
You're so clever.
And, of course, there's a main FBI lady who he forms a friendship with. And I have to say, in the pilot, I did not like her at all. I feel like they kind of improve her character in the 2nd and 3rd episode.
She reminded me a lot, not how she looked, but I don't know if it's her speaking voice, something about Aisha Tyler.
Oh, okay. Well, I kind of see it. Yeah, and her kind of mannerisms.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not feel her at all, the pilot, but she's gotten better as we've gone on. And of course, Cameron's got his crew of magic helpers, including Vinnie Jones from Gallivant.
Yeah, Vinnie Jones.
All comes back to
also Gallivant. Known as one of the most famous soccer players in the UK, but of course, as Justin would know him, Vinny, the guy from Gallivant.
I also know him as the Juggernaut, bitch.
I know him from Big Brother Celebrity UK.
Oh, really? He was on Celebrity Big Brother? He was on a Celebrity
Big Brother, and he ruled the kitchen with an iron fist. Nobody else was allowed in there.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That's funny.
People would be like, oh, my God, nobody else can go in there and cook. Vinny runs everything.
But, of course, he's the Juggernaut, bitch. That was the worst movie. But I'm quoting it. And so we're now, and as the show goes on, he's obviously going to help the FBI more and more on different cases. On the 2nd and 3rd episode, it's kind of like a case of the week. We do get at the end, not much more information, but we see the lady with the 2 colored eyes again and 2 different colored eyes. And I think that'll kind of be like the through line of the whole series.
So basically, the evil magician helped framed his brother. So for some reason, the evil magician is now helping criminals to create crimes, and he's going to have to help solve these crimes to get to the evil magician, 2-eyed lady. 2-colored eyed lady.
2-colored. She needs a catchier name. wannabe. What's her name from Jane the Virgin? Not Rose. What's her name? Sin Rostro. The wannabe Sin Rostro.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, I mean, okay, I thought it was going to be a horrible show. It was okay. I'll watch the next one and give it another shot.
I get it, especially the second and third episode, especially the second episode. It felt a lot like early Lucifer to me.
Yeah, I didn't love him because something about magicians are so smarmy.
Yes,
I didn't love him, but I love his crew.
Yeah,
the crew is what will keep me coming back for another episode, to be honest.
Yeah, and I like there's the one FBI agent who is a big fan of the magician.
Oh, that's Sucre from Prison Break.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I like his character.
Yeah.
And we'll see. Hopefully Cameron will kind of calm down a little bit.
Yeah.
But I also got that feeling with like early Lucifer also, where he's just always popping up, always getting involved, always making.
I love Lucifer.
That's what I keep thinking of.
Yeah.
When I get this feeling. But it's fun. I kind of liked the second episode. The second episode was kind of an interesting crime, and I liked it. It was good. And there's also kind of like the main FBI like chief lady in charge who like is completely not feeling Cameron, and I love her.
Yeah, she's like, "What's this asshole doing here? Get rid of this asshole. Get this asshole out of my office. Get this asshole out of my station."
At one point,
not like him.
At one point, she's like, "You again?" Like,
yeah.
What's up with this? Like, what are you doing?
And when he snuck in the disguise as the financial guy for this criminal, and she's like, "Get him out of here!" And she's just looking at him, and she was so mad she had to use him. You just tell he just irks her.
I love her character.
Yeah, I like her too.
I figure out what I've seen her from because she looks familiar.
She did look familiar. I agree.
And I'm like, oh, she was in Deception. Well, that's what I'm watching.
Wow, what a coincidence.
Oh, go me. I'm so clever. So, yeah, that's Deception. I think it's a fun show. I don't know how long it's going to be on ABC for, but I think it'll be one of those that I'll watch. I might, like, stack up 2 episodes at a time and watch them kind of like what I'm doing with The Resident. But I'm enjoying I enjoyed the first episode. It was a lot. I went into it not knowing what to expect. I didn't know much about it, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah, it wasn't the worst thing ever, right?
No, absolutely not. I've seen worse.
I've seen worse too. It's called Siren.
Oh my god!
It premiered this week on Freeform. I probably should not be watching Freeform. And it is a show that takes place in a town called Bristol Cove. And apparently they've got like a legend of like mermaids.
The mermaid capital of the world.
Mermaid capital.
They have like a whole like historical play. Like, you know, when they do like the Christmas play, and they tell the story of Jesus. Well, this one's got the story of their town.
That they should name the town Splashtown, USA. Like, forget Bristol Cove. That sounds so like
Mermaid Town, USA. Like anything. Come on.
I've got a stupid. Okay, so we get introduced to this guy named Ben and his family. His, I guess, great-great-grandfather was the one who fell in love with a mermaid, and so his family is kind of well known in this town. And he's a bad actor, and he makes a joke at the beginning where he's like, "Oh, and if I were to do that, you would just call me my brother." Does he have a brother? I was trying to figure out if there was like a brother character.
They kept talking about his brother. I guess he has a brother, but I don't know where he is.
I kept thinking that there was this bearded guy that was his brother, but he wasn't his brother.
No, I don't know. I kind of felt like maybe his brother did something bad and either died or went to jail or went to the army.
Oh,
I feel like something like that happened.
Maybe we'll learn more as it goes on. I just feel like the show just wasn't very clear in anything. So we open up at like a ship, and you can tell it's like the worst budget ever. And it's at nighttime, of course, because you can get away with more with nighttime shots.
You can't see shit in the background.
You can't see anything. And there's this like they catch this like creature, and there's like this guy gets attacked, and there's all these noises, and then the government helicopter comes and takes the guy away and takes whatever creature it was. And so
it was like, singing a beautiful song. Oh.
Where's Ursula taking that voice when you need her? And then all of a sudden there's this girl that pops up in town, and she can't really speak, and walk or do anything except get raped by a redneck guy.
Well, she didn't get raped because she destroyed him.
He tried raping her. He was like,
yeah, he made her like hold his crotch, and then he climbed on top of her and kissed her. And then I guess she didn't like what came next because he got blood, not even splatter. It was blood explosion.
With Angel in the Morning playing.
Yes. The best thing she does is darting her eyes around creepily.
Oh, that's so. She's weird looking.
Yeah, she's very alienish.
And she keeps meeting our main guy Ben, who's got a girlfriend.
He helps with like seal rescue or some animal rescue.
Yeah, and they're all like oceanography people doing seal water stuff. And so he's got a girlfriend, and I have to say that I think the most sexual chemistry on the show was between the mermaid and Ben's girlfriend.
I was going to say between the two seals, but okay.
that too. And so then, of course, like he befriends the mermaid, she befriends the mermaid. They find this like big, huge, giant like recording beacon of something that has like some sort of screaming on it. Apparently, the screaming is the girl's sister, the mermaid's sister. The mermaid is out wandering looking for her sister, and that's who was captured at the beginning of the episode. And then there's some mermaid store lady who knows everything that's going on in town.
The mermaids is real.
Let's be honest, the show is stupid.
Oh, it's so bad. And then when she finally learns to speak, she's like creeping on some little kid watching cartoons, watching a seahorse. And the seahorse is like, I'm Rin, or I am Rin. And then she's like, I am Rin. And that's the only thing she can say now is, I am Rin. Not Groot, okay?
That'd be more entertaining. Groot Mermaid. Oh, I was doing stuff from episode 2. You didn't watch episode 2.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering about the beacon. I'm like, I don't remember her.
Yeah, so we find out that she's like looking for her sister. That's what she's doing. And so then we get to see like this government area where the guy's still on the bed getting injured from the mermaid. We see the sister mermaid in the tank.
Is he gonna turn into a mermaid? Because remember the other guy. So at the end of episode 1, she goes into the water because her scales are coming back or whatever. So she has to be in the water. And when you're in the water, because the mermaid store lady said that when they're in the water, like anything in the water is food to them, even humans. So he goes into the water because he thinks she's drowning and he goes to save her, and she bites him in the neck. So I was like, oh, now he's going to turn into a mermaid? Is that how they get mermens? I don't know.
That's what I thought was going to happen with the guy in the government center. They were going to like pull back his sheets and he was going to have like a fin.
Oh, amazing.
I was expecting that to happen. I was kind of disappointed that didn't happen. And that would be the one thing that get me to continue watching this show is if they did that.
Did he at least get like some sort of fish flu or something?
I don't know what's going on with him, but the fact that they keep going back to this, like, there's something going. There's going to be something happening with that dude.
Like, maybe he'll be like a seahorse and he's impregnated, and they're in his tummy.
And he goes, "I am Ren."
Yes. It's bad. It was bad.
Originally known as the Deep, it is now called Siren. Both are bad names. But my favorite thing was I went to a website where they're like, great, the premiere of Siren. And all these people down there are like, oh, this show is amazing. It's my favorite thing ever. I'm already shipping these characters. I'm like, really?
I'm going to have a lot of customers at work telling me how much they love Sirens. And I'll be like,
then
the same ones to tell me how much they love Vampire Diaries. I have a good name for it. They should have called it Something's Fishy on Freeform.
Something Fishy. That's better than Siren or the Deep. Would you go back and watch more of this?
I mean, maybe if I was just like laying on the couch and something was on, and I might just stop and watch it, but I don't think I'll seek it out. I mean, unless nothing's on TV, but I mean, I didn't have much to watch, and I still didn't watch the second half or the second episode, so I don't know. I doubt it.
And what's up with them like hiring people who just can't act?
I don't know, but I should give it. I should give it a second chance, but it was so bad.
It was bad. Oh, he's from Rings. I saw Rings.
Yeah, I saw Rings too.
In the
he was also in something else I saw him, and I can't remember what else. Which one?
The Fifth Wave with Chloe Moretz.
Yeah, I watched. That's where I knew him from.
Watched that one. And apparently he's British. They're all British.
Yeah. He looks a lot better in the Fifth Wave. It's something about this episode. His head looks like it got squashed down
by weird. It's weird.
Like a press or something.
I don't remember what he looked like in Rings. Rings was such a bad movie. I just remember Johnny Galecki was in it for some reason.
Yeah. He's like a professor.
That was weird. So yeah, those were some interesting shows that came on. And I'm trying to look at what's coming up. There's not a whole lot that is really interesting. I need to watch the new ABC sitcoms that are premiered this week. The new Jenna Fisher one and the new Zach Braff one.
Yeah. I don't like sitcoms that much. I didn't watch them.
I didn't watch them either, but I will. I'm usually good just for like a 30-minute escape, getting away from something. But I can't think of any hour-longs that are coming up soon, too. I got to see what's coming on Netflix.
Westworld's coming back soon.
So, yeah, a couple weeks or later in April.
Yeah.
Which is April now. Oh, my God, it's April.
It's April. Yep. So, well, that'll be the end of the show. We'll be back next week at our regular time, and I'll be back tomorrow with Ryan and Arthur at 6:30 p.m. So have a good weekend. Thanks for listening.
Have a good one.